What are the odds that we get back-to-back episodes with Christina's? So Christina Tyler, my CrownLUV, they joined us today on the Down to Business podcast. And if you remember really back to our live event during the summer, we actually gave away some of her products. So if you were the fortunate and lucky winner of those, you were definitely blessed. But talked all things hair care, scalp health, growth, oils, bonnets, pillowcases, you name it. I guarantee you Christina can bring it to life and make it happen for you. But really why she stepped into this field, well, one, she unfortunately lost her job during the pandemic, needed money, had to support the family, had to support herself just the same. But with that, she started to recognize that there was not really a lot of melanin within this industry specifically. And there was not a lot of people who looked like her, nor was it really that personalized experience that you get when you shop and when you reach out to her and everything like that. Because, she's not really here to make a sale. She's more so here to give you that education, to give you some bomb products, of course. But on top of that, she really just wants you to be able to resonate with someone like yourself, to resonate with that natural hair journey, and to make sure that you are doing everything in your power to take care of it. So without further ado, enjoy episode 196, The Holy Grail. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner. Look, it's summertime. It's obviously my favorite time. My birthday is in the summer. Shout out to all the July babies, all the Leos out there. But, it's also a time where things, I guess, slow down a little bit. It's not really that hustle and bustle. Some people are still working, but school is out. Life just feels a little bit slower. People are on vacation. You're not really just hustling and bustling. But for the business owners, for the entrepreneurial world, we know the grind never stops. And from the content to just everything that you have going on, from clientele, from sales, orders, you name it. It's a constant rigmarole of things. But very excited for today's episode. Very excited for all my episodes, obviously. But Christina actually, somebody who I was following for quite some time from the podcast page, and just seeing what she does from a content perspective, seeing what she offers, the products and services, seeing the professionalism that she exudes, just the same with her page and her brand and her business. And I was very interested. So when I was back on leave, we tapped in with each other. We figured some things out. We got some things on the books. And alas, here we are. So very excited for her to tell us just a little bit about her journey into the business ownership world, into becoming a business owner and branding herself and everything like that. But also very excited because I feel like a lot of my followers and a lot of our audience are going to want to tap in once you find out what she does, what she has to offer, and just experiment just a little bit. So before we get into all things that she's here to talk about, Christina, how you doing today? How's everything on your end?
I am blessed. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. So we're going to have some people tapping in. Well, we're going to have people tapping in from all over. Obviously, my network, obviously your network. But my favorite of the two is really just people who know nothing about either one of us, who came across this episode in some capacity and want to continue to follow the journey, whether it be from Down to Business or my CrownLUV. So for everybody, to bring everybody up to speed, put everybody on the same page, just do two things for me. One, just tell me a little bit about yourself. And then two, just tell me what brings you on the Down to Business podcast today.
Yes. So my name is Christina. I'm from the Tampa Bay area. I am a boy mom. I'm a mom of 4 boys. I'm a bonus mom to 3. So I have a big Brady Bunch family. I started a natural hair care brand during the pandemic when I lost my job. That's how the idea kind of started flourishing. And I always had a passion for hair in general, but melanin representation in beauty and really seeing people that look like me in the beauty space. So that's kind of like where CrownLUV came from. I'm really excited to be here because I just want to spread my connections, grow as far as connecting to other people, networking. This is my first opportunity to actually be on a business-based podcast. So I'm really excited about that.
I definitely would say we love first here on the Down to Business podcast, whether it be your first podcast appearance or first business podcast. We definitely are excited to have you, but love to really just hear even the beginning parts of the journey. A lot of what we have talked about in previous episodes was really the effect that the pandemic had on people from a positive perspective, from a losing a job perspective, negative, and really shifting life, but also how, in a sense, fight or flight mode kicked in for some of us, and when you're used to having a job, when you're used to clocking in every single day, 9 to 5, to have that just abruptly cut off and there's no really timeline or timetable to it, that's very scary. And for yourself, you got a family. You have mouths to feed. You have clothes to put on backs. You have roof to make sure it's over those heads. So I definitely do take my hat off to you and commend you just for that, for taking a deeper dive from doing some self-reflection about that passion, about really figuring out what you love and what it is. Because oftentimes that's how they say brands start, businesses come about, because people are just looking at what they love, what they can do, just effortlessly, just wake up and have no problem tapping in with. And that's really where it goes from there. So, and shout out to the Tampa Bay people out here. You know, we love it out here.
Hey,
It's good
louder.
weather out here today. So shout out to Florida, all down here in our own little world. But so obviously, you know, with the pandemic, there was just a lot of things that you had to figure out. There was some misdirection. There were even probably some periods of time where the motivation just wasn't there, where it was just a frustration because you didn't really know what was going to happen. I remember my specific pandemic experience was I got 2 job offers during the pandemic, and their immediate line to me was, well, when this clears up in a couple of weeks, we'll contact you back. So obviously, we all know the pandemic lasted way more than a couple of weeks, but it was just scary waking up every day and there's a new discovery, a new variant, a new piece of information out there, and really not knowing where to go, where to brand. I was an essential worker for the first time in my life, and that was just a crazy thing, just being on a curfew and seeing ghost town, seeing businesses get shut down, the looting that was happening, because I was actually in Philly at the time before I moved down. But it was just wild. So for you, was after you kind of came into business, after you figured out this was really your passion, this was really what you wanted to do, what was really did you have like an aha moment or a point in time where you really figured, okay, I want to LLC this, I want to brand this really wants to be it, I want to take the social media presence, I want to make everything happen? Because, you know, obviously this started as a passion for you. This was something that you just loved. This was something that you even catered to yourself, your children, just the same. At what point did you really realize, okay, no job, trying to figure things out, but I'm figuring things out, I'm getting successful with it, I'm getting the hang on things, I'm experimenting with stuff. Let me actually put some professionalism behind this.
So during the pandemic, I started, okay, so in the pandemic, I was actually 6 months pregnant when I lost my job. So it was like the added pressure of like, okay, I have no insurance. I'm gonna go in labor in a few months. I have no job. So like the security of like someone just literally pulling the rug from under you, literally, that was my experience. So I started looking at what I could do online or from home that could support my family, but I didn't have to work like a 9 to 5 and I could still be there for my kids. So first it just started with just like, what can I do from home? I lost my job, but I need some type of extra income. So I started researching and doing a lot of research, and Amazon FBA came up first, and drop shipping Amazon FBA model came up. So then I downloaded a software tool that was like a extension on Chrome, where you could go on Amazon and look at what sells, what doesn't sell, what is the price point, how much are they selling it for. And in that research, I started looking at different hair items. And in that time, I found a pain point, and that's kind of how the whole thing started, because you can't really sell something without solving a problem. So the problem was bonnets. Everybody loves bonnets, but there was no bonnets that were high quality and were for protective styles. And I specialize in natural hair. So as I'm doing all this research online, there there was nothing on Amazon that was for that specific thing. Like there was bonnets for other things, but there wasn't a high quality bonnet for protective styles or braids or faux locks or any type of long hairstyle. So then I'm like, wait a minute. If it doesn't exist, then there's a lane for me. And then that's when I was like, okay, well, how can I source it? I can't sew. Then I started researching Alibaba. Then I started researching different manufacturers. Then I started reaching out to them to get samples. So it took about 6 to 8 months just to get like what I wanted to actually sell and get like a approved sample of what that would be. So it was a long process to get to like, oh, I had an idea, but then I have to research what the idea is. Where am I going to get the product? Where is it going to come from? How much is it going to cost? So that took another 8 months to materialize it actually becoming a product.
And I want y'all really to listen to the timetables that she's given here too, and also take into account that she was pregnant. You know, so I also do think that this is a prime example of how it's not a lot of one hit wonders out there. It's not a lot of just you go to sleep one day and you wake up and your life has just changed. That can definitely happen, and shout out to people who that's happening for. But a lot of times for a lot more people of the business owner and entrepreneurial world, it's that dedication. It's that waking up every day and just putting your best foot forward to do something, whether it be, like you said, there was a lot of due diligence and research that you just had to do. There were a lot of things that you had to even ask yourself before hitting these sites. what's the problem? What am I solving? What are people looking for? What are my capabilities in reference to this problem or this solution? Because that's something you also have to take into account. Oftentimes, what resources do we have? Because like you said, you didn't know how to sell. So that's a resource, or that's something that you may have to look to outsource, or that's another direction that you may have to pivot because that's not a skill set that you have. So oftentimes that could also bring about just different trials and tribulations for us too as we continue to work. But like you said, when that well, as I said, more so when that fight or flight mode just kicks in, it's like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's like this has to get done by any means necessary. Because, like I said, when your livelihood was challenged and taken away, I can't just wait on what other people are saying, or I can't just wait a couple of weeks as we saw or as we hoped. But that's really just amazing to hear. Because I know it wasn't hard. I mean, I know it wasn't easy all the time. I know for as much as you talk about it now, for as much as just it can flow out and we can talk about it and go back and forth about it, man, those were some long days. Man, those were some long months. Those were things that you probably don't forget about. And that's why you're able to recollect it so well. But on a sense, you were able to come from the other side of that. You were able to see everything that went into it. And from there, it allows the business to continue to build on that foundation, that transition. And a lot of times people make the job harder by not doing their due diligence in the very beginning, by not doing that research, by not targeting your audience, by not really figuring out your why. I feel like that's the biggest thing. If we're just here to talk about money and coins, man, you can do anything to make money, legal or illegal. And we're not promoting anything illegal on the podcast, but you can go any direction. We saw it in the pandemic, how it happened. So, but I also feel like, when it's something that you really want to put your best foot forward with, when it's something that you're putting your name on, that's just different. Because a lot of times people don't realize that behind the brand, there's a CEO, there's a creator, there's a founder, there's somebody who is championing all these efforts. Whether you see them, whether you know them, it's still there. So the same way that things can take heat, or that the brand is that, you also have that person who established that, who made that happen. So, all right. So let's move forward a little bit. Let's fast forward a little bit. You're getting comfortable with things. You're figuring out what's happening. How did marketing work for you? Because I feel like during the pandemic, it was really a social media era. It was really just the interaction physically declined a lot. And I feel like, for the generations that I always tell my little brother's generation, he's 20, that you guys are like this all the time. Like, granted, our parents probably said that about us, but nah, I'm still writing things down. I'm still printing things out. They don't know what printers and fax machines and typewriters and the phones where you got to spend it like that. They don't do all of that. So for you, when coming into business, when really recognizing that you want to take things to the next level, you want to build on this momentum that you have, how was it really getting the word out? Was it a lot of you just tapping into your network that you already had? Was it a lot of just reaching out through these different sites and through these different vendors and resources? How was it really being able to promote yourself and really continue to build this brand during that time, though?
So I graduated from Florida A&M University, woo woo, HBCU. I was a marketing major, but like you just said, I'm kind of old. I'm 35. So I remember when we didn't have cell phones. There wasn't a social media. So what I learned in business school back then has totally changed from now, because there was no Instagram, no Snapchat. There wasn't like that instant gratification of we need to know what's going on, promote fast, launch fast. It wasn't that type of momentum, what I learned in school. So it's really been learning marketing from the floor up, really, because social media is a totally different beast. And that I'm still learning it. Because to be an entrepreneur and wear all these different hats and learn 5 different platforms, like it's a lot. So what I did is I tapped into my personality and how authentic I can be in person. And I just started going gun ho on vendor events, and I still do it to this day. I'm someone that I kind of at the beginning didn't want to be the face of my business. And I realized that people buy from who they like, people buy from who they see, who they connect with. So once I realized that, I just was like, you know what? Let me just start putting myself out there, going to vendor events, talking into the camera. I started not outsourcing to influencers, but using my products on myself and posting videos with myself. And like that's when I started to see like that momentum and that change. But really, vendor events, in-person events, I feel like I can be my true authentic salesy self. And I thrive in that environment and just building personal relationships in person.
All very good points. I think having that marketing under your belt did give you a little bit of a, an advantage from a perspective, but it gave you an advantage for the time period. As you said, we grew up during a time period where social media was not as prevalent as it is today, from threads to reels to shorts. It's too much to keep up with, as you said. And as someone who is a one man, a one woman band, just the same, I understand wearing all the hats in your business. And I understand not always wanting to be the face, but still wanting that impact to be felt, still wanting the mission and message to be received. And oftentimes you can't take a back seat, but want everything at the forefront. You have to, make yourself uncomfortable, get on the camera and things like that. So it also depends too on your comfort level and how you do that. But you also spoke to that there were just certain things that you just had to do. Go to these events, make yourself uncomfortable. Use the product instead of spend as you. And I loved what you said, because I'm a big, nothing against the influencers, nothing against the content creators, people who that's their bread and butter. But I'm a big fan of just use you. You can set up a camera, you can set up a light, you can use the things, do some tutorials, do the thing, because even then it's more organic, it's more authentic, it's more genuine, because these influencers, we know behind closed doors they're getting paid. We know it's a contract, NDAs might be involved. We know you have to show a certain level of enthusiasm. There may be a script, everything like that. But when people are clicking on our video and they say, oh, that's Christina, oh, that's Tamar. Oh, she's really practicing what she preaches. She's really using those products on herself. She's not just trying to get a sale out of us. It breeds a different level of just trust too. And I feel like that's a lot of, as you said, people buy from who they like, but people also buy from a trusting environment, from an interaction that makes them feel good, makes them want to return. You ever bought something and you just like, yeah, never doing that again. It could be a product that you use, it could be something that you like, it could be something that you would ultimately buy again. But the customer service, the experience, even the person just turns you all the way away from it. And I feel like a lot of times that can be that. And if it's one group of people who will do that and will stand on business in that regard, it's us for sure. So I love to really see that realization for you and how you kind of adjusted and gone. And like you said, I also think you made a great point about you're still learning. You're not, we don't have anything mastered. And just when you feel like you're comfortable or you got the algorithm under your belt, they drop another app, or they drop another feature, or they add something else back. So it's just like, you always got to be doing this for you. And now with everything, don't even get me started in the AI space. They're implementing so many things in so many places, it's hard to keep up with. And that's the side that I'm so tapped out of. I leave that to everybody else. So I like that a lot. Now, okay, for anyone coming across my CrownLUV, whether it be social media, whether it just be the website, whether it be meeting you at an event or anything of the sort, what can they expect from a brand perspective? What can they expect when it comes to going through the website, going through the social media? What if they have questions and they want to reach out to people? Are you easily reachable? Are you easily attainable? What type of experience? And I ask this question because, as I said in the beginning, we're going to have people who know nothing about you, but they love what you have to offer. They're curious, they're interested. They may even want to bring you to an event, because I know a lot of people that do pop-up shops or participate in pop-up shops locally and just on the East Coast and all around. So what can people expect when really, just experiencing your brand from start to finish?
The number one thing is authenticity. Absolutely. Because as far as, like, for example, my hair oil, I've noticed a lot of people don't tell you what's in their products. There's no transparency as far as what exactly are you making, why are you making it. What you will get from CrownLUV is transparency. I'm open about everything, all the ingredients I make, the fabrics I source. There's an authenticity to it, and then there's a luxury component to it. And CrownLUV royalty, our hair is our crown. And I wanted, so many Black women try to hide what our natural hair looks like. So many Black women are wearing weaves. They're a lot of us don't even know what our natural hair looks like. We've been getting chemicals and processes on our hair for years. So when I fell in love with my hair in my late 20s. So I already understand that love-hate relationship with your hair, and CrownLUV is really establishing the love relationship with your hair and really honoring it as a crown, that no matter who you are, what type of hair texture you have, you are royalty and your crown is important. So our products are going to reflect that importance, and that you are royalty and luxury. So I just wanted I didn't really see natural hair being seen in a luxury space. They don't have look, they don't try to show lush or richness or just expensiveness in the natural hair space. I just didn't see brands that were doing that. And that's really why I chose the black and gold coloring and why I wanted it to look more lush and expensive. Because I really feel like Black women don't honor our hair. So that's the experience that I want you to have. Everybody gets like a custom satin bag with all their products. So I really wanted you to have an experience when you have CrownLUV.
Bags fire. I need that. I want a product, but I just want the bags too. I need that so simply. But I like that because it also goes to show that once again you did your due diligence in finding out what's in the market right now. What's not in the market? What are people looking at? What are some observations that you made? Obviously, as a Black woman, you can attest to that the most because that's what you identify as. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's also just like, you see what's being promoted out there, what's not being promoted, lack thereof, and you want to fill in. It almost reminds me of a previous episode that we had where we talked to Whippy, and I asked him, why that name? He said, because if you type that in, you're not going to come up with much of anything. And I feel like sometimes making yourself as different or as unique or as much of an outlier as possible is a good thing, especially within business. You don't want to search something and you just get a laundry list of things. You want to kind of search something and be unique, or be like, wow, why did she do that? Or why is it spelled like that? Or why is the wording, the emojis, anything like that? You want to be symbolic to what you are. Part of the reason why I used the number 2 instead of TO for my podcast. One, I like the numbers. I like even numbers, but I like number 2. But 2, just because, when people are thinking about that, they're not thinking about the number. And even when I say it, people are just like, oh, that's creative. And even with the logo and things like that. So you want to, as a business owner and entrepreneur, you already know that you're coming into this sector to address something unique, but you also want your brand as a whole to be your brand. You want to, when people hear CrownLUV, oh, that's Christina. People hear Down to Business, oh, that's Tamar. You know what I'm saying? So I really do love that. And I think that it gives the audience, and it gives people just finding out about you just an even more sense of comfort and realization that, like you said, you're not here for the coins at this point. You're really here to just educate, to inform, but also because you're passionate about what it is that you do. And obviously, in some capacity, correct me if I'm wrong, you're having fun. So it's just,
I love it.
I go through the content. I'm just like, yeah, she's really having fun with this right now. So she may say 35. The 35 ain't old, y'all. I meant to even say that too in my last reply, because I'm creeping up on the 30s myself. So we gotta dismiss this narrative of the 30s and the 40s being old. Nah, y'all, look, all these youngsters, these 20, y'all don't know old just yet. So we're gonna have to calm that down. But speaking of just young and growing old, I now think about your family, and I think about everything that you were going through to coming into business, and just all of that. So I throw the word balance out there, but what does life look like for you with everything that you have going on, with still being a mother of multiple children, and still just having to show you still have a personal life, you're still a human being? So how does that all work itself out? What do weeks look like? What do days look like? Are things ever changing? School is out now. So how is that kind of going with also still thinking about the elevation of your business?
So when I first started CrownLUV, I started CrownLUV and I needed more funding because people think being an entrepreneur is like a quick get rich scheme, and it's not. You are broke. Okay, let's keep it real. Like, and if you make a profit, you put it right back into your business. You're constantly reinvesting. So my bank account is not cha-ching right now. Everything is going right back into building my brand. So when I first started CrownLUV, I'm like, oh crap, I need money. Like this is serious. Like the shipping costs are expensive. Like, and God forbid they mess up on product, then you're screwed and you gotta reorder everything again. So I went and got a full-time job after I started CrownLUV. And then I had a full-time job for like a year and a month. And then it was just getting too hard to balance picking up the kids from school, having a full-time job. I make I make my oils, I make my soaps from hand. So like navigating that, being prepared on the weekends for vendor events. My kids are in sporting activities. I have all boys. So we're going to football, we're going to soccer, we're going to baseball. So they have their things, I have my things, and then school, my full-time job. So December of 2023, I quit my job. I just couldn't, because that's another thing with balance. In order to be good at everything, something has to compromise, unfortunately. But we're only one person. So I just felt like me compromising the time that the full-time job was taking away from my kids wasn't worth it. And then it clears my mind up to think about CrownLUV, because to be honest, I was on the job like, what's my next campaign going to be? Like, what am I making next? Like, I could barely focus on my job because I live, breathe, eat CrownLUV like all the time. I'm thinking about how to make it better. Who can I connect with? What events coming up? So like, it was hard to just keep focused on a job that is just not serving me at all. And then it reinforced that I never want to work for somebody again. And that was what it really was. Like, okay, I'm gonna quit this job. It's time to go full throttle into this. So that's what I did, December 2023.
That's amazing. Coming up on a year, quicker than we realized. So big shout out to you. But I also, it's something that I heard in that too, is that there's no shame in the game. There's nothing wrong with working a full-time job and still having your business, still having dreams and aspirations of getting up out of there. You know, we have to, as a business owner, I will completely agree to the sentiment of, this is not get rich quick scheme. This is not just, oh, because the content is popping, because the sales and the orders are coming in, that we good, we sit and pretty. No, we think once that's happening, we still thinking long term. Like you said, it was a point where I attest to that story so much about just being at work and not even working for real. Like, there was points where I sent more podcast emails than job emails for the, it was just, when you really just that locked in, man, it's like nothing else matters. And sometimes I would just wait till, oh man, I can't wait till this interview later today. I got things that I need to take care of. I got meetings and calls. Look, I'm thinking about 5 o'clock so I can get off, clock out, and get in my zone. It brings a different aura around you when you really start to work on what you do, what you love. So, and like you said, though, still adjusting, but also you boundary set. And I think that that's so important when it came to just having a compromise, or when it came to affecting the time with your children. That's where you drew the line. And that's where you said, okay, look, I love the job, I love the money coming in, I love what it's kind of doing and the supplement that it's making. I can still find another way. And even leaving the job, it makes you, as you use the perfect phrase, full throttle. It turns you up. It's just like, okay, like, all right, I just kind of push that to the side. Now I got to go 10 times harder to not only make up what I'm already doing, but make up for what I just left just the same. So I love that. So touch on the products a little bit, and I want to get into that just a little bit specifically. So kind of a two-part question here. So one, just for everybody out there, people who haven't clicked the website yet, people who haven't scrolled through the social media in any capacity, can you just give us the list of all the offerings, all the products, all the services, if there's anything even thrown in there that way? What can people expect from CrownLUV coming across the website, wanting to shop?
Absolutely. So natural hair is hard. Like, it's not easy. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of products. And I just wanted to simplify women's natural hair experience. So just with that being the basis. So one of my first products was our detangling brush kit. It's a 13-piece set, and it's all of the styling tools you need to take care of your natural hair. I wanted to take the guessing game out of it. The reason why I came up with that one is I have two biracial nieces, and their mother had no idea. Their curls came in and she didn't know really what to do or what to buy. And I know there's a lot of people in her situation who aren't familiar with kinky or coily hair and didn't really know what products to buy. So that was my product that I kind of was inspired by my nieces, kind of like a styling toolkit where it's everything you need to take care of your natural hair. And then my best seller is my bonnet, my 30-inch protective style bonnet. It's vegan satin, double layered. It has an elastic band to lay the edges in the front. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. I also have satin lined shower caps, which was just released within the last year. We just released those, which is cool. It's waterproof lining on the front, satin lining on the inside, so you're still protecting your hair while you're taking a shower. It has ties to eliminate any moisture or humidity getting to your hair, which is awesome. We have hot oil treatments. If you're having dryness or brittle breakage with your hair, you can do a hot oil treatment. In the last 6 months, I started doing aloe mint shampoo bars. The cool thing about that, it has massagers on it, like this. So it gets all the buildup off your scalp, which is great. If you have natural hair, you use a lot of gels and creams and oils, and sometimes it leaves a lot of product on your scalp, which is not good. It causes rashes and irritation. So this helps to get any buildup off your scalp. What else do I have? My hair oil, I call it the Holy Grail. It is seeped in Ayurvedic herbs like fenugreek powder, rosemary, lavender buds. It has four main carrier oils. It is to lock and seal in moisture. A lot of people are selling hair growth oil. I see hair growth oil every day of my life, and I am the opposite. I believe in the opposite model of hair growth oil. I believe if you take care of the scalp, hair will grow, because a healthy scalp is a healthy environment to stimulate growth. So my hair oil is all about locking and sealing in moisture and scalp health. So it has tea tree oil in it, yingling oil in it, clary sage. It's all natural, no preservatives. But all of our products are really to simplify your hair journey. I have a lot of other new product ideas brewing. My whole closet has ingredients. My husband's probably like, oh my God, another order? Like, I cannot. But I'm always thinking of, like you said, the future. What's next? What is the next pain point? And being at these vendor events, I get to talk to people in person. So they're like, girl, I got an issue with moisture. You don't have nothing for that? Or girl, why don't you don't sell this yet? So they're telling me exactly what they want, and I'm at my table and they're telling me I have this and this issue. What are you going to do about it? And I'm like, I'm just taking notes. So I'm always listening to what my customers are saying about what's next. But right now we have about 8 products on our product line. Oh, I forgot one. Pillowcases.
Oh, okay.
I have marble vegan satin pillowcases that I love. You can get a pillowcase everywhere, but you can't get this pillowcase. So
I like that. See, you said it twice now. You had me at vegan satin. I have never heard of that, but that just sounds like something that I need to be experiencing. So I love that. But I do love the intention behind everything, from the naming to just what you're doing to experimenting. Because I know with coming up with different things, with concocting these oils and bars of soap. By the way, I love the soaps that come with the massages, y'all. I'm addicted to those. So yeah, you'll be seeing something come through soon. On top of that, though, I love just the feedback that you're getting, just the same, but how you're a sponge to that, because easily I feel like people get plugged in every day in some form or fashion. If you're really just listening, if you're seeing what people are talking about, what they're not talking about, what they're questioning, complaining about, what their opinions are and everything like that. Like you said, you're just jotting it down little by little. And I think that that's important too, because it also goes to show that it's not the end all be all. We're always thinking, we're always brewing things. Like you said, the closet looks like a madhouse right now, but it's the laboratory, because you're figuring it all out. You're thinking, you may get an idea, you may hear something, you may go to a shop and you may come across somebody, because everybody is at a different stage and phase with their natural hair journey. Some people haven't fully embraced it. Some people are in it to win it. Some people really haven't touched it at all. So it's very interesting to also see that. But I love that. And I love that in-person interaction. I tell people all the time, man, a conversation can go miles, can go light years. It can just talking to someone you can figure out so many things. And especially someone who you don't know, someone who could be of help to you, but at the same time, and not necessarily monetarily. These people have been helping you out sometimes, and you probably haven't even made some sales, or they're asking for certain things or looking for certain things. It's like, okay, all right, wait till the next time you see me, or if you follow me now, give me some time. I bet you won't be asking
exactly.
the question the next time. So I love kind of that twist and that spin that you're putting on things. And you kind of answered the second part to my question. I was kind of just going to dive into some of the things that you make, but I guess I'll ask it anyway. So when it comes to like putting together the soap, putting together your oils, everything, the treatments and everything like that. I know a lot of this is research. You even mentioned that Ayurvedic herbs, and I was actually looking into those too, because I came across that word and I couldn't pronounce it the first time I read it. So, but two, I was talking to a friend and they were putting me on game, and that was cool. So when it comes to when you're curating things, and specifically, are you just kind of experimenting? Are you figuring out what works well with what mixes well, what kind of goes well with others, what you can put together with safe? Obviously, you're looking at products that are good, are health and wellness like certified that are good for, you know, the system, vegan, everything of the
Yes.
sort. But when it comes to actually concocting these different things, what does that process look like for you? How does it come together?
So I have bought books on formulations because there's a lot of safety issues that go with it too. Like for example, with soaps, if depending on what type of soap you use, you can't put herbs or natural ingredients in it because it may mold inside of the soap. Or pH levels that aren't good for the hair, you got to worry about that. So it took a lot of research because I want the best on my hair. So of course I want to give you the best. So I researched all different ingredients. How are they used? Do they go well with each other? what what are their like their natural purpose, I guess you would say. Like some essential oils are antibacterial, some are antifungal, some have UV properties where they protect you from the sun. So there's a lot of different things that go into like what each individual essential oil does. And then once you figure out what each thing does, you kind of break it down to what do you want your product to do. And then that's kind of like how I decide what I'm going to put in the products.
Yeah, that's very important, because that was, even as I was asking the question, I was thinking that too. Like, you know, there are probably certain things that just don't go well together, or there are certain things that could throw off the scalp or the head, because you know the scalp is a lot is where things are getting secreted like very fast. So the pores, everything like that. So that, but you even kind of put me onto something I didn't think about. Different products that you can't see, the molding inside the soap and just everything like that. You know, that also just goes to show like when you really are intricate about what it is that you do. When you really go that far, like you said, you're reading things on formulation. You're looking at certain things. You're researching things. You're watching things. You're trialing and erroring, and that's really just also to the intention. Again, that product is not called the Holy Grail for no reason. So I like that. I think that's going to be the episode name. Actually, I think we just. I love when we can figure out the episode names during the episode. That's one of the hardest things for me to do. So I love that a lot. Now, you already kind of talked about the futuristic outlook of CrownLUV. But obviously, I love this question because, you know, we debut things on the podcast. We speak things into existence here. We make things happen of the sort. As we said, this is the first business podcast, so we already on the track with the momentum. So for the people tapping in, even for myself, just out of curiosity, without spoiling anything, without ruining any surprises or messing up the game plan, is there anything that people can be looking forward to as we continue to propel throughout the rest of the year? Anything, you know, I know that you got the laboratory, you're always kind of thinking things and bigger picture and all of that, but is there anything that we can, from a product perspective, from a treatment perspective, any pop-up shops or any places that you're going, or people can be on the lookout for you, whether it be in Tampa, whether it be kind of on the outskirts, everything like that? Because as I think about the podcast and just the network of people that we touch, you know, they're all over, from domestically in the United States to internationally to everything like that. But nonetheless, you know, people want to show love, people want to tap in, but people also want to have something to look forward to, because, you know, they're following along now that they know CrownLUV. They're going to follow along with this journey, whether they're live right now or listening to the episode. So do you have anything that you can give the people, any insight, any things that you want to share with us?
Absolutely. So the number one thing I get is your hair oil seals moisture, but what do you have to add moisture? So that's my next step. I already know what products I'm going to be doing. I've already started formulating, researching. So the next step is I'm going to make sure all the crowns are moisturized. That's my goal. That is my goal. We have a major event coming up in August. I'm actually doing the Black Women's Expo in Chicago, Illinois. So I'm really excited about that. Last year I did the World Natural Hair Expo in Atlanta. Was amazing. Had a great time. Now Chicago, bigger market, bigger event. Is supposedly there's gonna be double the amount of people that were in Atlanta in Chicago. So I'm really excited about that. Um, just gonna keep going to more vendor events, keep putting myself out there. I'm also applying for some cohort programs for small businesses. I'm ready to. I thought I wasn't ready, and then I started looking at who is get. Sometimes you have that imposter syndrome where it's like, I'm not prepared for this. I'm not ready yet, or I need to wait another year. But I really like once I started seeing like, wait a minute, she hasn't even launched a brand yet and she got into the cohort program. I'm like, wait a minute, I could probably get in one of these. So that's my goal this year, is to get in one of those cohort programs, really get help to learn about inventory management, how to get ready to scale. I don't know if I want to go the retail route yet, or if I want to stay in e-commerce business. I feel like there's a lot of flexibility with that, just being an e-commerce business and growing on my own. But I would love to do like QVC or HSN, and like do my talking thing on TV and sell. Like that's definitely my personality. Like I would, so I'm speaking that into existence. And HSN is like down the street, so call
Come on
me.
now.
I'm right here.
We're gonna have to make sure they get this episode specifically. If I got to drop it off myself, I will. But no, I love really to hear all of that, because it gives us the bigger picture for business owners and for entrepreneurs. And while there is always things at the surface, there are always things that you can see, that you can obviously go to the website, see what's going on. But for you to think that that's all Christina's doing, that's all she's thinking about, that's all the picture that she's painted, nah, you would be crazy. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, your mind is always turn. And if you haven't gotten that from this episode, just listen, rewind back to when she described what the closet looks like and how her husband may not be the happiest camper right now. So no, I love that. And obviously, while we manifest things and speak things into existence, we also just want to make sure that from the podcast perspective, from an audience perspective, that we're tapping in, we're making sure that we're propelling you by any means necessary. So obviously going to Chicago, that's going to be an amazing way to close out the summer, an amazing recognition for the brand. So go take advantage of that by any means necessary. Shout out to the Windy City indeed. But obviously, I also just want to give my audience and give the people who are tapping into just some insight, just some things to look forward to. As you said, as they were kind of even listening, they may have gotten the thing of, okay, well, I hear her talking about what the products do and locking in. But now they know, okay, their question may be answered. Okay, so she is debuting something. She is coming through with something. She is, taking the feedback and everything like that. So I love that. All right. So now, before we do the call to action, before we tell everybody where they can find you, all the places, the website, everything like that, do you feel like there's anything we have not tapped in with today? Anything that we haven't touched on that you want to, even any last words that you want to leave for the naturalistas, the business owners, the entrepreneurs, anything out there? Give us whatever you got.
One of my favorite podcasts is The Ghetto CEO. And I feel like people really try to glamorize the CEO lifestyle on social media. And I wish that like CEOs would just be honest and like tell what it really looks like. Like it's really not like, oh, we look so beautiful and we're taking like these beautiful photographer based photos. And no, it's a lot of hardship, and it's a lot of like critical thinking that goes on, because there's fires like constantly that you have to put out and solve. And I wish that social media would give a more realistic view of what entrepreneurship looks like, because it's a grind, and everybody feels like they're supposed to be a CEO. And I'm telling you, like, not everybody is built for that, because it takes a resilience and a tenacity to like, you get the, like, I just got an order from China, thousands of dollars, and it was wrong. I mean, no labels, wrong product, like, but that some people would just fold and be like, well, guess God didn't call me to do this. And I'm just like, how am I gonna I'm like, who am I gonna give these free products to? What shelters can I give this product to? How can I rectify this situation where I turn a negative into a positive? So I guess what I'm trying to leave with is entrepreneurship and being a CEO is more about mindset than it is anything else. And I wish that we talked about the realities of entrepreneurship more.
Whew, I ain't know you from how you started. I ain't know you was about to end it like that. But sheesh, I'm loving that one. And it kind of, as you were talking in the beginning, it made me think about that post that's kind of been circulating about who they think they're emailing versus who they really are emailing, and just the comparison of, and it's just like, yo, we live lives too. We're human beings. We're people. We have families. We like to have fun. Social media just isn't. It's a facade. It's really just a big facade. But I do agree with you that the lack of authenticity, the lack of genuineness has really just tainted everything, has saturated it, has just made it like just hard, and everything is just, as you said, like everything just has to be like shiny, or just the glitz and glamour, or just everything has to just pop out at you. But no, just give us the real. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's really talk about, yo, this
Yes.
wasn't hard. Like, and even a woman who I spoke to yesterday, Christina, she was just like, she's really gonna she really just wants to hear those stories about how you almost couldn't pay rent, or how you had to make some sacrifices, or do this or do that, or cut this out, or do that, because this is really like that. Unless you were one of just those special cases or anything like that. But even in the stories of those, because they just take losses and they have trials and tribulations just on a grander scale. Everybody, nobody's living just this perfect entrepreneurial life. It's impossible. You know what I'm saying? So I do love that. I definitely do agree with you. And I'm gonna have to actually tap into that podcast. I never heard of that. So I'm interested now, because I probably can resonate with it a lot more than I may realize. Now, all right. So you said a lot of important things today. You gave some insights today. You may have even inspired some people to embark on that natural hair journey. But the most important of everything is really just where people can reach out to you, where they can find you, where they can shop, where they can even collaborate, where they can even pick your brain, anything of the sort. Maybe even meet you in Chicago, or maybe even show love to you while you're in Chicago. So as far as social media, as far as the website, as far as the best places to reach you and contact you, give us everything you got. What is that for you?
Absolutely. So our Instagram is my CrownLUV, LUV, just like the two. We got to be different. So CrownLUV, LUV. It's CrownLUV on Facebook. It's www.mycrownluv.com. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, my CrownLUV. All of my influencers, beauty girls, naturalistas. I do have an affiliate marketing program, so we can all make money out here. So if you use our products, you can also be an affiliate, and you get 18%. So if you just love our products and you just want to use it, you can make a little coin too. So I encourage all of you guys to look us up. I also have a blog on our website, which gives a lot of information about hair, how to manage it, affirmations, how to do a hot oil treatment. So I'm really here to educate you and to teach women to love their crown the way it is. So we're going to give you a little education, a little fun, but definitely follow us on our social media, My CrownLUV, LUV.
And see, I ain't spoil it, y'all. When I was talking about the uniqueness earlier, I knew how she spelled love, but I gotta let her. I gotta let her get her. Yeah, I mean, so but I like that, because that was one of the things that caught my eye too. I'm like, oh yeah, she's black. She knows what's up. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's all of that. Yeah, but no, Christina, obviously, like I said, I've been watching you for quite some time now, and just to see everything that you're doing, the education that you provide, the authenticity that you are, but also just the enjoyment behind it, because that's what I look for in a lot of the people who I connect with, who I talk to. I want to see that passion. Obviously, when the money's coming in, when things are looking good, yeah, you're gonna be gung ho, you're gonna be hey. But I want to also see you on those slow days, on those rainy days, on those ugly days. We have to embrace everything just the same. And while nobody wants to fail, or nobody wants to take that learning lesson or anything like that, it just is what comes with the territory. It's what happens when you're one of God's strongest soldiers, and he just keeps sending you to the front of the line. You know what I'm saying? So, but I really do appreciate everything today. One, just for the turnaround and wanting to be on the platform, wanting to be on the podcast, but two, just for offering yourself as a resource to my audience, to everybody that's tapping in with this episode, because I think that that's important. I think with anything that you're not too familiar with, any journey that you want to embark upon, it's good to just be able to do your due diligence, as I spoke a lot to in this episode. Do that research, really, but put yourself out there just the same. You have to make yourself uncomfortable in certain aspects. You have to learn things. You have to be able to admit that you're not the know-it-all. You're not the end-all be-all. Be a sponge. No matter what industry, no matter what lane you're in, no matter what part of life you're in, there's always something to learn. There's always room for improvement. So to everybody out there who continuously taps in with the podcast, shows love, from the event to just the logos, the website, everything that we've been doing, man, it's been a lot happening, a lot going on, but I'm blessed. I'm grateful. I thank you all. I love you all. This has been another episode of Down to Business Podcast. Here with Tamar Turner.